All right, hello. This video is going to be about raiding tips. I'm kind of responding to a couple people who have been asking me about how to raid quicker. If you see my videos, I raid quite a bit. I actually delete probably about half of the videos I make because I'm just not very happy with the raids. They seem kind of boring. I don't get very good loot or whatever reason. So I do raid at least once a day, pretty much. But before I go into those tips, I had somebody else asking me about what I keep in my vault here. So I'll just go through these chests real quick. This is my most prized stuff pretty much is in here. These two gas tanks I actually got back to back in a row, opening up in red chests. I've never got a gas tank from a raid. I've had 4 of them so far. These are kind of some of my trophy guns. Some more trophy guns. These are just a bunch of regular guns that are mostly full in health and strength. Kind of my raiding chest and my bunker chest. I've actually had a bunch of silenced guns in here. I've been chewing through my silenced guns left and right on raiding. That's unfortunate. I can't seem to get any more gun jackpots on any of these raids. That's where I was feeding that. More turret parts in here. I'm getting a lot of turret parts. And more turret parts in here. And some armor. Those 2 puppies are more than likely male. I got them from when I was doing the puppy glitch. And that seemed to be the case. So that's everything in here. So let me move over to the raiders and we'll talk about how you can raid more often. And hopefully this won't be another staticky video. I keep getting a lot of static on my videos for some reason. Okay, so the way it works with the raiders is there's 5 types of quests. 3 of them are pretty straightforward and there's not much I can tell you about them. 2 of them really require a little bit of thought on how you approach them. So I'll talk about the 3 easy ones first. So you're either going to get the 25 chests in the red zones or the 15 toxic abominations. The 15 toxic abominations is way easier. It usually takes about 4 trips to a red zone, and the 25 chests usually takes about 6 trips to the red zone. And that's not counting all the times that the big one comes and spoils it. So you might go 7, 8, 9, 10 times trying to get the 25 chests. Well, usually what I do is I go there with enough weapons and armor and stuff to get in there and I do about 3 times, maybe 4 times. I go to the red zone, go to the orange zone, back to the red, orange, red, back and forth, trying to get as many chests as I can. While I'm there, I try to kill turkeys. I don't usually try to go for the other kind of steak meat for the dogs. The turkeys work the best. They're about 5 times as much meat for them, but the dogs always require a lot. So I try to kill any turkey I can see, and I try to avoid fighting anyone I don't have to fight. The new toxic spitters. I guess it's probably a little better. I seem to get less stinky, but usually about the 3rd time I've been there, maybe the 4th, that's when I get stinky. And I'm also out of weapons and armor by that time. There's always the hope you'll find C4 in a chest. Whether you get abominations or not, you still want to open all the chests. You can get some weapons that way. You might find C4 and you might find a puppy, so that's a little side benefit to going to those. I also tend to, whenever I get these quests between raids, I usually will do at least 1 full run on the wood if I'm at the wood zone or or I get some limestone and iron ore. Both of those every time, at least once. I don't every time I go to the red zone like completely mine the thing. That's just takes so much time. So that's how I treat that side. Those 2 types of quests. The other one is the dealer and the airdrops. So they both usually take about 2 days. It seems to me lately that you can get 2 deals in 1 day, like 1 day and then the next day you can only get 1. So they kind of made it so you can do this in 2 days. This used to be the hardest one. And the airdrops are, pretty regular. You get them You get 3 in a row at the same time, night or day, where depending on your time zone. So the dealer and the airdrops kind of suck. If you get these two, these are the ones that spoil it. And I'll talk about that at the end, but you can't do more than one raid every 2 days if you keep getting these. If you don't have them, you can complete all your quests in about 3 or 4 hours tops. Really 3 hours if you're just really working on it. And so you could do a raid. Another 3 hours later, you could do another raid, and get your skulls up higher. But I'll talk about that at the end. So, if you see these, that kind of sucks. So onto this one. Not that. Okay. So the third type of raiders task is crafting stuff. So this is the easiest one. All you have to do is craft some stuff. The particular one I have right here, the spike traps, is the most annoying one. I don't need spike traps. It takes a ton of rope and wood to do these, and it's a complete waste. It's not that wood and rope are that hard to get, but I always try to keep a good supply. That's the trick with these, and if you want to raid quickly, you need to know about these. I might be missing one, but it's the iron plates, which is the easiest one. You just drop 20 iron into your metal bench and walk away. I mean, you can split it between the 2 benches, and it's twice as fast. But that one's the easiest one. Every time I get that, it's awesome. Then the military armor, also it doesn't cost a lot, and you need the armor anyway, so it's a good one. The axes are another great one to get. You're always going to use those 5 iron axes, so that one's awesome. The med kits can be a little bit of a pain, so definitely stay stocked up on alcohol and bandages. You need a lot of them. So when I'm out there doing my 25 chests, I'm always collecting the what's it called? The green fabric stuff. I forgot what it's called. That they drop all the time. So you keep in stock on these things so that when you do get them, you can just quickly knock it out. Building the chests is another semi-annoying one. The resources aren't quite as bad on that one, but I have no need for them. It's just a giant waste. But the spikes is the worst one. But either way, you just need to stay in stock on those things. So try to get ahead, try to save up the stuff so when you get one of those, you're not having to actually go out and try to find the stuff to craft those things. Okay, so on to the last two. The last two is the bunker stuff and the C4, and those actually require a little strategy. And it all involves how you handle the bunker. So the way it works is never ever open the red chest until you find out if you have the C4 quest. So I'll go to a bunker. Always open the bunker as quickly as you can. You got to keep that bunker turning. So never sit there with the bunker waiting to be opened. Always go to the bunker. Even if you don't need to go to the bunker for anything, keep that bunker open because you want that 2-day time period to keep cycling as quickly as you can. So go to the bunker, but don't open that red chest until the very end of that 2-day period, because if you come up with the C4 quest, that's one of the only surefire ways to get C4, sort of. You don't always get C4 in that chest, but usually you do, and that's the best way to do it. So if you wait for that and you get it that way, that's awesome. Now, if you do open the red chest, you get this quest, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to go use those red tickets, and you don't get the C4, then that's when you need the floppy. So whenever you get floppies, never, ever, ever use them. Keep, unless you got like 10 of them sitting in your base, don't ever use them. Just keep them in your base and wait until you get a C4 quest. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. What am I out of? Okay, almost died. Okay, so as long as you have a floppy, that is your insurance guarantee that you will always get C4. So you didn't get it in the red chest, no problem. Use your floppy. So that means you do need to work on hard mode every once in a while and try to earn a floppy. The easiest way to stay up on floppies is is to just do the blind one. The blind one, you know, every 3 or 4 times you kill them, pretty much, you can earn a floppy. It's probably 4 times. It takes a lot to get a floppy, but you know, if you find one on a raid or whatever, that's the main key, is to try to like keep one in reserve. That's your ace up your sleeve in case something goes wrong with that red chest. So you can also get C4 from red zones, but that's a wild shot in the dark. It's really hard to find C4 in a chest in a red zone. So don't ever count on that, because it's like 1 out of every 100 chests at a minimum. It might be 1 out of every 200. I've only got maybe 3 of them ever from red chests, and I go to red zones all the time. So that's it for the C4. Now the 5th type of quest is this one over here, which is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th floor of the bunker, killing 5 turrets or the big one head. So the big one head, you have to activate hard mode. So if you get that one and the bunker is just started, you pretty much have no choice. You can go do what you want to do in easy mode. You could go kill the 4th floor stuff and get some steel and some turret parts if you need them or whatever, but you're going to have to activate hard mode and go kill the big one. There's just no way around it. And that really sucks if you just open the bunker, because that means you're going to have to wait 2 days. If something else doesn't come up, I mean, you can still do hard mode. You can go do the big one head, but don't kill anything else. And if you do get another quest after that, you can go do hard mode 2nd floor or 3rd floor or kill all the turrets, but it's a lot more difficult to do it in hard mode. So the next key thing with the bunker is you don't ever want to finish a floor in there unless it's part of your quest. So if you need some red tickets or something to open the red chest, go in to do the 2nd floor or do the 3rd floor, but don't kill the last zombie until that's a quest option, because you never know what's coming up on your next set of quests. So always do the bare minimum in the bunker. Always make it so that you can see what your next quest is, and it's like, oh, bam! I got I killed the big one. I got the big one head for this one. The next set of quests comes up, and it says finish the 3rd floor. Well, I already started the 3rd floor. Let me just go back there and finish hard mode on the 3rd floor, and I got that quest. So never ever finish a floor in the bunker unless either the bunker's right about to close, or unless the bunker's right about to close, pretty much is the only reason why you'd want to finish anything. So never clear a floor otherwise. And that goes the same thing with all of those things. It's the turrets at the 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 4th floor. So as long as you manage the bunker correctly, I mean, that's the main key. You got to like do the bare minimum. Never finish a floor unless it's your task. If you're trying to get a floppy, go through, clear the whole floor, but leave 1 zombie there. You know, earn your floppy and hold off on killing that last guy until you see what your next quest is. I mean, until the bunker resets, you don't want to kill that last guy. That's pretty much it. So that's kind of what I do in order to get my tasks done as quickly as I can and try to knock out as many raids as possible. I mean, if you got the C4 or the airdrops, you don't have a lot of choice but to wait around and see what happens. But as far one other little thing to bring up is revenge raids. I've had people asking me about how to get revenge raids quicker. You're going to have to get 4 skulls. Once you have 4 skulls, you're pretty much almost always going to get attacked every day. And that helps feed itself. So every time you get attacked, you get a free revenge raid. That gives you another day with another skull. So that you kind of need that in order to keep going. You don't always get attacked every day, and that's when you fill in that void with completing a regular raid at least once every 2 days, because you should be able to do that. So you need to do your revenge raids and do your regular raids, but how do you get to 4 skulls is the question. And And the key there is you're going to have to bust your butt when you do get, when you don't have an airdrop or a dealer quest. You're just going to have to bust your butt and do that whole quest, knock that out, and then figure out what the next one is and try to knock that one out. When you do get that little brief period where you get the right set of quests where you don't have those two things, you can knock out 2 or 3 raids in a single day. You just have to get lucky and get the right quest. But once you build up and get 2 or 3 skulls, you might get a revenge raid in there that bumps you up to 4 skulls. And once you're at 4 skulls, it's pretty much easy street. It just kind of feeds itself. So that's the only way you're ever going to get up there, unless you're just paying for the raids. So unless you're pay to win or whatever. So a couple other items about getting a revenge raid is from what I can tell, you do have to have some sacrificial chests outside. I don't know what the deal is on what you have to put in these things, but the raiders do have to take something. And my usual thing that I do is I leave 2 guns like this, used up guns, and a couple other items, a little bit of wire or something. I don't know what the minimum is, and I've never tested it, but I know they do need to take something. So if they're coming to your base and you don't have any chests for them to take, I don't think you're ever going to get a revenge raid. I would love to find out if you want to leave a comment about what you think the minimum is. If it's just 1 gun, I want to keep leaving 2 guns forever, but it doesn't, not a big deal. It's not hard for me to leave 2 guns. The other thing I'm not quite sure on is I don't know if you need to be at your base or not when the raiders, be away from your base when the raiders come. But I always make sure I'm away from my base at night, and that's when I get raided. I've been at my base in the middle of the night and found out they didn't show up the next day, so I've kind of always assumed you don't want to be at your base. So every chance I get, I try to stay away from my base when I'm not playing the game. If you know that that's not the case and want to leave me a comment, I would appreciate it. But that's about it. So I hope that helps those of you asking. And I guess that's it. I'll see you guys on my next raid. All right, bye-bye.